Welcome aboard, everybody, to the first New EdTech Classroom live stream of 2022. Where are my sound effects? There we are. Sam Carey, good to see you. How's it going? You're muted again, Sam. You did this at the last live stream and then the one before it.
Well, I was just saying, we barely made it. I feel a little bit rusty. We've been off YouTube for, we said a month. We said we are going to take a month off. We're going on a solid month and a half or so now,
Yes.
I think. Yeah. So video making is rusty. Actually, you and I had that experience recently where we were filming videos and talking about how difficult it was after some time off. So
That's true.
Taking a hiatus, and we're excited to be back. For sure.
Yeah, it is good. And Sam, you had an idea of, instead of us just being like, "Oh, how was your break?" What are we gonna do this live stream to kick things off?
Yeah, so people are always talking about highlights of your break, and I know, like in my school, I mean, it's fun. Like you sit around in a circle and hear highlights, but I thought we'd do something a little bit more interesting. So we're gonna go back and forth, and we're gonna share something that surprised us over this hiatus, this break, so just time we took off, something that we learned about ourselves, so something you learned about yourself, Tom, and something that you, Tom, learned about me. So that last question comes from the place of basically us spending a lot of time together. So then I will also share something that I learned about you and vice versa.
Yeah.
So sound good? You up for that, Tom?
Yeah, I'll start off. One thing surprising from my break, I was surprised to find I had just as much fun with one of Audrey's new toys this Christmas as she did. They were like these little suction cup things that were all these different sizes, and then like I would suction them together and then like try to rip them apart, and then I would suction two other ones and then two more, and then I just kept making this line of just suction cups, and I was kind of surprised how much fun I was having. Or she like had walked away, and I'm like, hold on, I'm gonna make something with this right here. So that was kind of surprising. What was surprising about your break, Sam?
Something that surprised me over the break is how much I kind of missed the work of grad school. So I got my master's degree a while ago in English literature, and I used to be super nerdy about wanting to read academic publications and all of that. And I just got super into that over the time that we had. We used this time to really think through some bigger picture stuff. And I read this entire like 350 page TPAC handbook that is pretty hardcore academic stuff. And I read it in about a day and annotated it and stuff. And, I did a lot of writing that was more on the academic level. And so I think I was a little bit surprised by that I was still interested in that. I felt like that was kind of something that was, I had that phase, but turns out I still kind of really like the nerdy academic stuff that's, pretty esoteric, and nobody actually reads really those journals, but I'm like super into it. So,
but Sam Carey is reading for leisure those journals.
That's
well,
right.
what's funny is like
reading.
The one thing that I learned about myself almost kind of ties in with that. I guess this one could also be somewhat surprising, was I haven't really read a book on pedagogy for several years. I had read several years ago, I had read a book by the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics on how to have like group work and dialogue, and how to get students discussing math. And that was probably the last book that I read, and that was probably maybe 4 years ago, on like really specific, like in the weeds pedagogy. And recently I've been reading a book on universal design for learning and blended learning. And it was like the first time I was writing notes, and it wasn't just for like, oh, this would be good for the video. It was just like something that I was like interested in. And I was like, oh, if I was still teaching in the classroom, like I could have taken one of the lessons that I did and modified it in this way to kind of create a more like, universally accessible activity. And so my like something that I learned about myself was like I didn't think that I was probably going to be reading that many books, particularly since we make YouTube videos, I watch YouTube videos, I listen to podcasts, and so I typically listen to and gather educational information via YouTube videos and podcasts. It hasn't been like a pedagogy book that I read in a while, and so that was something that I'd kind of learned about myself. That part is still in there inside of me that wants to learn and explore some of those things.
Yeah, I first of all, I realized that what I shared was actually more what I learned about myself and not so much like what surprised me. But anyways, it all kind of blends
Yeah,
together.
it does. It's all good.
That's something that I learned about myself. Speaking of books, I do have a book here that I just want to throw in that Tom is going to laugh to see this, to recommend. Highly recommend that you all check this book out. I read this as well. Brief History of the Future of Education, just one of the many books that Tom and I have been passing around and reading, and just thoroughly enjoyed that book too. So, I think just very closely related to this question, like about like, kind of rediscovering academia and like kind of nerdy academic type journals, is just a real realization about myself that although I run a business, that in many ways what gets me the most in my flow and what I really love is just nerding out on that kind of stuff. I don't get into that state of like flow and excitement, and I could be working for like 12 hours if I'm just thinking about business stuff. But if I'm thinking about technology integration on this kind of, real academic level, then I am just like in this flow state, like I really harken back to my time as a kid playing Zelda, where I would just sit for like 14 hours and play games, and I had many experiences like that over this last 6 weeks where I was just like so into what I was doing. And it was like this kind of real in the weeds, sort of getting my head wrapped around all this kind of like higher level stuff about tech integration. And so, that surprised me. And I guess I learned that about myself too, that, hey, that's actually, where my passion is, more so than running a business. I don't know what that means exactly, but we'll figure that out.
Yeah. Well, I guess the question that actually reminds me of like where it's like the question where it's like, what's one thing that I learned about Sam? I had an answer. I'm going to share two answers. The new answer that came to mind was that he hates formatting issues. When you're working on like a website or a page and you like made this thing bold, but then it messed up the formatting over here. And why did this thing just now indent when I deleted this thing? And why is this thing like not just becoming italicized? And like, I actually don't mind that kind of stuff. Like I kind of see it as kind of a fun, interesting puzzle to solve, but I learned that he hates working with formatting issues. But I also learned that he's very good at just like coming up with a solution last minute. We were actually on a call with another guy who does similar work in the education space, and we were going to talk about whether a collaboration made sense, and we're like, well, maybe it just doesn't make sense, but we should still stay connected with them and everything. And then like 5 minutes before the call, he's like, what if we just did this, and this with them? It's like, that'd be great. And then we got on the call, and the guy's like, I love that idea. And I'm like, all right, well, there's the classic like Sam Carey find a solution at the last minute, which I appreciated. Like we were going in without a real solution, and we found one. So that was something that I had learned about Sam over the break.
Trying really hard to be better about procrastination, but for some reason, the way my brain works, it always kicks in right before the moment.
Yeah.
I don't love that.
Yeah.
So one thing that I learned about Tom, so like I said, I think I talked to you more in the last 6 weeks. I mean, we already talked to each other a lot, but we talked a lot in the last 6 weeks because we've just been building things and thinking on a really high level about where are we taking New EdTech Classroom? How are we going to really turn this vision into a actual like manifested product thing in the world that's actually going to help teachers learn how to teach with technology. And so we spent an enormous amount of time talking and making and creating. And actually I had a lot of fun with you, Tom, just like coming up with creative ideas and talking through stuff. And a lot of those conversations were back and forth like, whoa, I have this idea about this thing. Mm-hmm. And so you're the creative director of New EdTech Classroom. So it's not a surprise that you're a creative person, but I guess I didn't quite realize the extent to which Tom is creative. Like I would just say something and he will create it, and it's this like amazing version of it. Or, hey, we have this thing we're doing, and he'll come up with this riff on it that is so much cooler than the original version. And so actually there's two things I want to share. And one of them is just this idea that I'm super excited about that Tom has about some future videos that we're going to basically have like a battle. So we're going to do a lesson design battle. So we're going to have some criteria, like 1 or 2 apps that we have to use and criteria for what the lesson needs to be. And then he and I are going to film each other. We're going to edit that down and we're going to make it into a battle video. And we could even bring on some guests. We've occasionally had some guests on for videos, but that would be a fun thing to do. And when he told me that, I was like blown away. It was such an amazing idea.
And we would need like ideas too from like the community, folks that are like here. It's like, hey, what would you do for a middle school math lesson about this? And then both me and Sam go create a lesson, come back, and then the teacher decides which one wins. Wins out in the classroom.
Yeah, I was saying like it's like a Iron Chef for teachers, like battling it out. But yeah, no, the community element would be critical. Like I want to see how to do this program and show me how to do this particular thing in it. So much fun. And then we also did this Adobe Creative Challenge thing. So if y'all haven't heard of this, we're going to be showing this in today's show. Adobe every month has this challenge that you can do in about 15 minutes that you can do for yourself. You can also do with students, and they set up templates and things like that to encourage creativity. I love it. And if you follow Adobe at all on Twitter and on social, you've probably seen lots of people already sharing these. But Tom took this idea and he made this amazing GIF out of his process of doing that. Do you actually have that right now? I know I'm calling it out right now to pull it up. Yeah, to pull up the GIF.
I can pull it up. Yeah.
Yeah, pull it up. It's just one of these things where I saw it and it was just so creative. Like he screencasted himself actually doing this 15-minute challenge, which we're going to show in a second from this template. But basically the idea is you're taking it, you're remixing it, you're adding some elements about yourself. He took it, he turned it into a GIF, and then we shared that on social. And it was awesome. So yeah, I'm seeing, oh, there we go. Yes. So I love that. I love it. It's like the process of taking that original template and making your own. Super cool. So what I thought we would do today is actually a little combo of both of these ideas together. So our show sponsor today is, one of them is Adobe. So thank you to Adobe. And our other sponsor is TaskGauge, which we'll be talking about a little bit later as well. Adobe has now changed their name. So if you're familiar with Adobe Spark Post, they've changed their education program to Adobe Creative Cloud Express. It actually has more apps now in it. So you get Adobe Rush whereas like before you just had Adobe Spark Post, you get Adobe Rush. So you can have a video creator. It's super cool. You also, the kids have access, did you know this, Tom, to Adobe Stock? So really cool. Like there's just all kinds of stuff that they can access and use to make. And I used Adobe Spark Post when I was in the classroom. Kids loved it. We used it for video. We used it for graphic design. And so they have this challenge too.
I will say too, like some of the pain points that I had with Adobe Spark, once I started working with Adobe Creative Cloud Express, I was like, oh, like a lot of the things that I felt I couldn't do in Spark, I can now do in Adobe Cloud Creative Express, which is super cool.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Love it. Love all of Adobe stuff. We use Adobe for video editing and all our graphics and stuff. It's awesome. So I thought what we do is we take this challenge. And so the challenge is to make a graphic. So what it is actually, I'm going to pull it up here so people can see, and then we can drop the link in so people can also just check it out for themselves. But it's a challenge that's shared out on a monthly basis. This is the January one where they're giving you a template, and then what you're doing on this template is you can take the template, you can click it, creative identity template here. And then when you click that, it's going to give you a template that you can use. So this is the template right here. And I wanted to take this idea of creating a graphic and Tom's idea of the battle. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to have a battle creating graphics, except a little spin on this, Tom, if you're up for this. Okay. So I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but rather than create a graphic of yourself, which I figure is kind of easy, right? This is what I want to do. I want us to create a graphic of each other. Okay, so I'm going to create a graphic of you and you're going to create a graphic of me. And then the other thing about this challenge is because we're live and people don't want to sit and watch us do this for like 15 minutes. We got to do this in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is how I think we should do it, Tom, if you agree. All right. So we'll split some screen sharing. So when the person is sharing, they can talk about, what they know about the other person. We'll see if you know anything about me. And then
well, I'm also like at a disadvantage. I'm the guy that's like clicking between like scenes and stuff. So Sam has got the upper hand in that regard. I won't be switching.
We all know that there's no way I could do that. So, all right. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to battle down. We got 5 minutes. And in this battle, we're taking this template. We're going to remix the template about each other. And I don't know, we can vote. We can have a vote in the live, which one people like better. It's not really about that. It's not about a competition. It's about a friendly, we're making a cool graphic about each other.
Yeah.
But
and seeing what we can do in 5 minutes too. So
seeing what we can do. And I genuinely don't know. I will say I did not practice. This is completely unrehearsed.
Let me try and create a 5-minute timer that'll go no matter which scene I'm on here.
Okay.
And let's make sure it's available.
Can I start now?
Show and all. Oh. It's not starting yet. I'm gonna have it on the bottom corner, and then I'm gonna start with you, Sam, and on your mark, get set, go. All right, so you guys can watch Sam while I also start on my own.
All right,
so you can
so
talk, Sam.
I'm gonna click on this image, and I have this image of Tom on my computer. So I'm going to replace her with Tom, replacing image and transferring styles. This is what I did not anticipate, Tom, is that there's going to be some slowness here.
Sounds like a personal problem, Sam.
Oh, I got this. No, I got this toggle. It's now I'm at 30. There we go. Okay, I got Tom. Okay. All right. Now, I know, Tom probably does not want pink here. So I'm going to change some of that. I'm going to change some of these icons too. All right. I'm actually just going to nix these because he already made these with like his favorite subject and things like that. So I am going to put here, let's see. I know that he, rather than what he taught there. Let's do that. I'm going to add some text. He was a math, science, and robotics teacher. All right. And I'm going to size this down. Okay, I'm going to bring this over. Now, one thing. I got a layering issue here. I'm going to bring that up, layer my order. Come on. Bring it forward. Oh, it's my text color. That's the problem. Man, I don't know, Tom. I'm really struggling here.
Well, you got 3.5 minutes. I'll cut over to mine. So I was able to get.
On?
All right. So
okay, you got it. Okay, yeah. When I'm not on the spot. Okay, go for it.
Yeah. So all right. So taught ELA. I didn't like this little magic thing with the text, so I liked to change it to where it just kind of fit right there. Yeah, I don't like that. Taught ELA, enjoys run. I think he included this one on his already, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it. Ran a full Ironman. That is the real deal. I think I'm gonna change this color scheme. Sam, we got 2 minutes and 47 seconds.
Oh,
to give ourselves more time. All right, color. Where's color? Colors. All right, so let's do something that's a little more new EdTech classroom. Okay, that's nice. Some of the text is a little hard to read. Okay, I think he's gonna like this color a little bit more. Let's see. You know what? I'm gonna delete stuff just to make things bigger because I got a little bit of time. So you got to make do with what you got. Sometimes you just can't do it all. You got to decide what do I have, what will work, and I'll make it happen. So 2 minutes and 12 seconds. We're jumping back over to you, Sam.
Okay, so I got that when he's not teaching, he's hanging out with his daughter. He was a math, science, robotics teacher. I'm going to change here. He is the creative director of new EdTech classroom. And we're going to change that. I got a different color scheme here. So this little shape, I can access that here by going to the shape, and then I'm going to change the color. And let's see, I want to make this like a green. I should have gotten our color, exact color. That's okay. All right. And let's see, biggest success. Ooh, I know what it is. I know he already said, but okay, this is on his other one, so it's kind of cheating, but it's 2-time Teacher of the Year. Pretty amazing. And I'm going to change this to, let's see, what do we got here? Now this color, I gotta do something different here for this. Let's do,
all right, I'll jump back to mine. All right, so I added that he's got 2 dogs. I'm deleting a lot. I actually prefer a less cluttered canvas as it is. So it actually works out, and I don't have as much time anyways. So let's rotate this. All right, we've got 50 seconds, Sam.
Okay.
Right. Let's see. Who is Sam Carey? And then I am going to go ahead and throw in see if I can get a new EdTech Classroom logo on here. Ooh, we got 30 seconds. We'll be able to get the new EdTech Classroom logo in 30 seconds. My Drive, branding, geez Louise, new EdTech Academy logos, PNG, high resolution. No, it's not the Academy. It's just new EdTech Classroom. Oh, design logos, PNG. We've got 16 seconds. Low resolution, high resolution. We'll do white. All right, I'm going to pull new EdTech Classroom logo. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right.
Okay.
Pencils down. All right.
I gotta change this from pink, man. I gotta change it from pink. Okay.
Let me rotate this so it's actually pointing at, pointing over here. Okay, I should have just gone. All right. So first off, I'm gonna delete this. I'll let you finalize your thing. I'm gonna go ahead and say, okay. I hope the audience here. So first off, we got a few people saying, we got some teachers on fire joining us. He said, this is so cool. This would make for a great About Me activity for students near the beginning of the term. Sandra, Germany, loves this idea as well. So what I did, I think you can kind of see what I did. I was kind of narrating most of it. I deleted more things than I kept to be able to actually do what I could in the time that I had, which is actually something that I did a lot when I was in a teacher. I did the background remove on Sam's picture. You didn't see that, but it's pretty simple. He had a picture and it just automatically got rid of that. Got the logo, ran the full Iron Man. So little simple, but hopefully Sam Carey likes it, feels it's representative of him. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. There we go. All right. So that's what I got for Sam Carey. Sam, what did you do?
I love it. I love it.
That's clean.
Thank you. Yeah. So, okay. I got here that, and I'm not crying right now. I'm not this, although this is making me very emotional talking about you and seeing that wonderful graphic that you made of me. So, okay, I changed the font and I changed it to Poppins. I know you're a Poppins fan. You know, yep. Tom's a font guy. It was Bebas Nue. Am I saying that correctly? I know you're not a fan of that, so I changed that. Okay, really quickly, just changing this here to Poppins because I don't want to, offend you with a font you don't like. So I got math, science, robotics teacher. When he's not teaching, he's hanging out with his daughter. He's always calling me from the park, sending me videos, hanging out with his daughter, even, running with his daughter and stuff. So pretty cool. Always spending time with Audrey, his daughter, and biggest success, 2-time teacher of the year. I know this was on your graphics. I know that's a little bit of a cheat, but I think that's pretty awesome. Excited to be learning about UDL. So we've been talking so much about UDL, Universal Design for Learning, and I think you're genuinely excited about it. Like you're talking about sending me quotes from books and stuff. So included that as well. Now, I already had an image with background removed, so I didn't have to remove it. I did use a little filter. I'm not quite sure how I feel about the filter contrast. I don't know. So there's some filters you can try. There's also, I didn't use it, but there's this cool tool down here where you can find a style, and that just like allows you to, try different styles out too, which can be cool and fun. And then I also added a different background here and just changed, the color. So that's what I got. 5 minutes. It's actually tricky to do in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But 15, totally doable.
I would say I think yours is more creative. I kind of mine looks a little bit more like the original graphic. I think yours looks a little bit different, looks a little cooler. So, but that's my opinion. Let's leave it to the people. If you think that mine was the better creation in 5 minutes, right, Tom wins. If you think Sam's was the better creation in 5 minutes, then you can say Sam wins, and we'll see what the people say. But that was actually kind of fun. It was kind of like, oh, what can I do? What can I do? You have to make so many like split decisions, like split second decisions and stuff.
This is a precursor to the battles we're going to have where it's like, build this lesson for this topic in this program.
Yeah, that time we're actually only going to give ourselves like 30 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, 30 minutes to do it, and it's going to be real, with like time lapse of us doing it. Now, here's the thing about this in the comments right now is that it would be Sam 1, meaning that you like the graphic I made of Tom.
Correct.
Right? So
not Sam's the picture of Sam's graphic.
Correct.
Hey, Cindy Newland, watching from San Antonio. I am an hour north of you, Cindy, here in Austin. So super cool. And Francisco is joining us from Brazil. All right. Awesome. Well, we'll see what the people say. I'm going to say, we got one for Tom wins, but it was close. I said my vote was actually for Sam's. We'll see what some of the other votes were. Fabulous Class says that it is hard to decide. So I think we're both winners. We're in a world where we're both winners.
That's fair.
Oh, by the way, I got a new EdTech classroom mug. That was fun to make this break. I think I'm the only person in the world that has one at this point. Sam doesn't even have one yet.
You're right. I do have a new EdTech classroom sweatshirt as well. So Tom made these. Very cool. Yeah.
By hand.
But you're right. It's not a competition. Actually, it's just fun to do. Can we put in the chat, maybe you already did, the link if people want to try this challenge themselves? This one's going to be the January challenge. And then there's another one that's coming up next month. So I'm excited for that one too, to see what that's going to be.
And the challenge is like to try to do it in 15 minutes. So, exactly. A little bit more time than we did. But, well, Sam, we've got a few announcements. First is I'm going to be anyone that's coming to Austin, Texas for South by Southwest EDU in early March. I'm going to be presenting a whopping 20 minutes at South by Southwest EDU. They have a session format called the Future 20, where you get 20 minutes to present on a topic. And so I'm going to be talking about student jobs for the 21st century, for the 21st century classroom. Pretty excited about that. I'll also be doing mentor sessions. So if you want to sign up and talk about YouTube or teacher entrepreneurship or classroom economy, or anything like that, you can sign up and chat with me there. Cool. Sam, you've got a conference coming up as well.
Yep. So I'm going to be speaking at Inclusive Classrooms, talking about how we can use technology to implement universal design for learning and create open access at the Tier 1 level. So I'm excited to speak about that. I've been doing quite a few actually presentations about that, about how we can make learning experiences more accessible through the use of technology. And then something else that I am very excited about, Tom and I decided to both submit proposals to Q. Interestingly, Q was the last in-person conference that I was signed up for right when the pandemic hit. And it was like on the bubble, are we going to go or not? And then they canceled it. But what's actually exciting about this is that we're both presenting, and it's going to be the first time that Tom and I ever meet in person. That's going to be fun. Yeah. So
it's like an hour away from your house, right?
It's farther than that. Yeah, it's farther, but it is in California. But super excited. I have this vision of making one of those videos where people see each other for the first time or something, where it's like, and they like run across the room in like slow motion and like we're like slap 5 or something. Yes. So I'm excited about that. So that's going to be cool. And just excited to be back at an in-person conference as well and seeing people. It's like, I feel a little bit like, man, it's been a long time since that sort of thing. So hopefully it's still on and we can go and it works out, but I'm excited about that.
Yeah, conference season is upon us, and so it's super cool. There's another big conference that Sam will be attending that we're going to talk about in just a second. But shout out to our other sponsor. Well, that's not the right sponsor. Tascade. Those are some of our other sponsors from another show. Tascade is another one of our sponsors, and I thought what would be interesting is I could actually show you what Tascade is. It's a project manager, and we have actually been using it for anything that we're doing on YouTube. So you can actually see this is a Tascade page. Let me move it over a little bit right here. I made a template for any live stream, so that way I can make any notes and any documents of what's going on, of like what we're doing, and you can see I've got links here, and then Sam was able to add to it when I was eating dinner, and he's like, hey, check the document. You can actually see we've got all these different videos that are coming up. I'm actually making a video about Tascade, and so you can see like there's like script attempt number 2, titles and thumbnails, and Sam is like leaving comments on like, hey, why don't we try this title, why don't we go with this thumbnail. You can see I've actually left some notes and comments to myself as well on the right side, but me and Sam could actually even, like leave feedback for one another since we are sharing this project. There's also like all these other links, and I love that you can just like expand and collapse everything as needed. And there's checklist for our video creation. You can change the view of this, which is really cool. So it's almost like a board view. If you've ever used Trello, you can also change like, kind of like an action item list and assign different things to people. This is like the same document. It's just reformatting it a little bit differently. Like this right here is like, if you're like really into like mind maps, you can do a view like that. So it's a pretty cool application. If you're just kind of like, there's so many different apps, I just need something that's simple, that I can do checklists and that I can kind of keep track and I can collaborate with people. Tascade is actually really a great solution to that problem. But we have, if I look at my notes here on Tascade, you as a teacher, all you educators out there can actually get, I need to get back to the actual live stream page, can actually get the premium version of Tascade for free just by filling out a form and letting them know that you are a teacher. And I think if you just use your teacher email or something like that, they will give it to you for free for being a teacher, which is, I love companies that are willing to do that for educators.
Yeah, for sure. So, it's lifetime updates for free to Tascade. We actually have a special code through EdTech Classroom. We just can't like openly share it because it's only for teachers. So, the purpose of the form is just to be able to verify with a teacher address. So, just let us know if you want that. And Tom's dropping that in the chat. And then there's also a question on there if you want to join our newsletter. We've been really working hard to make the newsletter valuable in and of itself, to talk about how education technology is coming up in the news and innovation and education, so that it's not just like, it's not all promotional stuff. It's like actual valuable here, is some information about what's going on in the world right now, or app updates. We've been sending out information about that as well. So if you want to join the newsletter, you can also fill out that form. Tom, can you also put a link in the chat for people that just want to join the newsletter in general? Because that's also a great way to hear about updates. And we have another really exciting one, and that's that we're going to be doing a special event that you are going to have to register for, and we're doing it with Alice Keeler. The date, I believe, I don't have it in my head right now, Tom, is February 2nd. Is that correct?
Yeah, I can pull up the graphic too that I made in Canva.
Awesome. So we have a special event. We're going to be talking about add-ons for Google Classroom teachers. So these are not like Chrome extensions. These are add-ons that you would add on to like Google Docs, to Google Forms, to Google Slides, that also work well if you are in the Google Classroom ecosphere. So Alice Keeler is going to be with us, and we are super excited about that. So the best way to find out more information and learn how you can register is actually to join our newsletter first, because we'll be sending out information to them first. So we got this graphic. It's going to be Wednesday, February 2nd. if you also register for the event, you don't have to come live. We'll still send you the recording of it as well. So that's going to be sponsored event by Schoolytics. And so we'll be showing what Schoolytics is all about as well during that webinar, and talking about, why we've decided to partner with them too, because they're also really amazing. So sign up for the newsletter if you want to hear more about that, and follow us on social and all that. And we'll be putting out information about that event that's coming up in 10 days.
What else is coming up next week, Sam?
So next week I'm flying all around. Plans have changed. I'm actually flying to Kansas City to do an all-day professional development about transforming your teaching with technology. And then I'm immediately leaving on Monday to fly to Orlando to go to Future of Education Technology Conference in Florida. And what's exciting about that is that this is actually the first time that we are going to be at a conference as an exhibitor, not just as a presenter or an attendee. So we have a booth in the Startup Pavilion, which is very exciting, where we are going to be showcasing our new product, which is ultimately what we've been working on for the last really actually 2+ years, but that's why we decided we needed to take a break and not put out content so that we could really just focus intently on this product. So I'm incredibly excited about that. I'm incredibly excited to showcase it. I was thinking, Tom, that I could show a couple of things about it right now, if that sounds good, so that people can see kind of what's in there. So my whole vision, when I started New EdTech Classroom, was not to start a YouTube channel per se. I wanted to show teachers how to teach with technology. And since then, I've done loads of professional developments and workshops, and have done a lot of thinking about the most effective way of doing that. And I've always had this kind of dream, really, of creating something that would give teachers hands-on experiential learning. So it's not just like listening to us teaching about something, that would also be personalized. So there were some personal pathways and leveling up and clear growth, clear framework, so you could understand where you were going. And I, for the longest time, have thought that we're going to basically, this is many years out. It's going to be something that's incredibly expensive, that we are going to need to use a software developer. But, and Tom, I think I might be double. Oh, no, I'm not. Sorry. I'm looking at myself. I think I'm double on the screen. No, I'm not. But we figured out how to do it. So we have, I think, legitimately, I am fully confident now in saying that we have successfully built something that is delivering on this promise of experiential teacher training that is just in time, that is ongoing, that's collaborative and social. And I'm incredibly excited about it. I've actually never been more excited about a project in my life. So I'm really excited to continue to show this to people. So I could talk forever about this. I want to show a few things in here. So this is 21st Century Teacher, and a couple of things about it that make it unique. One is that there's going to be different kinds of access points into the content. So we have developed a skills matrix that's actually based on a integrated TPACK Universal Design for Learning model, which we've also built, and we'll be showing that at a later time. But we've also created some leveled content. So we've developed a certification program, essentially, where you can get certification for level 1 and so on. And one of the ways that you could access this content would be to actually just say, I want to develop some skills in teacher tech skills, for example. So, if you were to click on this, then that, I didn't, I haven't actually turned that link on. I thought I did, but it's going to take you over to our teacher tech skills. And then there are different teacher tech skills. So For example, if you knew that you wanted to be working on just Google Drive organization or optimizing your Gmail settings, Google Calendar, you could do all of that. When you click in here, these are all fully interactive as well. So we've built out these choice boards so you can get in, you can see some instructional videos that we've made about it. You can also check out these interactive tutorials, which I'll show you in just a second. So I'm excited about that way that people can explore content. You can also explore content, like let's say you're like, I want to know about Padlet. Then you can search for Padlet and you can see what posts also include that program, where there's content about that program, if we actually have some specific app tutorials about it, which we do about Padlet. So we are also providing people with app tutorials that are specific to different programs. These are embedded in lessons, but also available, like you see here, just as individual content. And the thing about this too is that these tutorials are unique in that we are actually walking you through how to do different things in these programs with clickable elements. And you can't hear this, I don't think, because it's in my headphones, but that's actually Tom is talking to you right now about the different things that you would need to do, walking you through the steps of the steps you would need to take in order to get into the programs, to do different types of actions in these programs. Now, we're also going to be offering structured pathways. So we have the kind of like just in time, hey, I need to go find out that information, but we also have these structured ways that you can go about learning content through learning pathways. And these are all, again, fully interactive and experiential. So one of the ones that we're going to start with in the first week is how to become a 21st century teacher. You'll see there's learning pathways here that will take us to some individual lessons about how to become a 21st century teacher. And in these, we have lots of different interactive activities. So for example, we have these videos that we've also, I'm very happy with the way that they're turning out. We're trying to make them very short and concise, but also really high quality, fully embedded. All the activities are embedded. So this is a poll everywhere, so you can see what that is like. You can do activities collaboratively with other people. We've embedded interactive videos with interactive questions here as you're watching the content to do some checks for understanding, embedded images, things like that, embedded activities for you to be able to do as well. So everything is right here in the same place. And then there's this collaborative social element where you can actually share back with the community the work that you're doing. So like for this one, we're actually getting into Jamboard and annotating a document that's taking place directly in here. You don't have to like go to another place to actually, to go like post that or anything. So all very exciting stuff. And let's see, a couple other things quickly that I like, that I'm excited about, that I want to show about it. There's this one thing here too, like for, thinking about some of these implementation concerns too, like how do we actually do some of this stuff and all the nuts and bolts elements. We're doing things like creating these 360-degree images. So these are 360-degree images that we've custom built to show different classroom setups for a blended classroom, to talk about the different types of equipment that you would need there, to give you the links for that equipment. So just a lot of cool stuff here that we are really excited about and we think is really going to support teachers with learning how to teach with technology, learning how to create more relevant, authentic, engaging, accessible learning experiences for students. That ultimately doing this is also going to help you as a teacher feel just like more connected to the reason you got into teaching and happier with your life as a teacher too. So we are just incredibly excited. I cannot wait to show more about this program. And it's called 21st Century Teacher. So just be on the lookout. We're going to be talking more about it, sharing more about it, sharing about our hybrid UDL TPAC model that this is, the framework that this is built on. And if you want more information about it, you can go to newedtechclassroom.com/21st century teacher. There's a landing page here with some information that tells you a little bit about what it's about. And you can join the waitlist to get more info. So we'll be talking a lot more about this, but this is what we've been working on. And this has been my Zelda, Tom. This is like my my ocarina of time that I have now, devoted hours and hours and hours of my life into. But I mean, it's been cool. I feel like with you making this, and with Mac as well on the team, it's just been fun. It's been a challenge, but all these things keep happening with it where I'm like, wow, we are making that happen. Like I am so excited, and I have to say, Tom's a little bit, I think healthily skeptical sometimes, but I've seen you too be like, man, this is awesome. So yeah. I'm pumped.
Yeah. It's really exciting. Betsaba Quinteros, it's awesome. Think you guys can't wait to hear more about the new EdTech metaverse as well. So, it's coming. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun, especially for me. Sam has a lot more of a background in studying universal design, studying the TPAC model of technology integration. And so for me, it's been really fun to kind of start looking into some of those things and seeing how, like going back to when I was talking about earlier in the episode, how I was reading several of those different books on pedagogy, how like, oh wow, even though these books weren't talking about universal design for learning, it was good pedagogy. I'm seeing that also kind of using different language, but in universal design for learning, but like to the next level as well. To like, how do you make how do you basically make the best lessons possible that reach as many of your students? And how does technology help you do that even more as well? So it's been fun for me to kind of start diving into more of these worlds that Sam's kind of spent more time in than me, and bringing my expertise and stuff with just technology and other aspects of running a 21st century classroom to the 21st century teacher experience.
Yeah, I think a lot, is sometimes we realize like, oh, there's some theory, or like there's people write about this thing, but like we know it, like what is it about? It's about, engagement, right? It's about authentic learning, real learning. I mean, this is stuff, Tom has been engaged in doing robotics with students, and your other YouTube channel is about creating an engaging classroom for students. So sometimes it's just, yes, there's this academic terminology about it, but what I like about it is that it does, if you look to it, you can, there are frameworks that exist out there that we can use to really give us guidance. The problem is a lot of times those are in the realm of academia and theory and have a difficult time actually trickling down and making it into real classrooms. That's always been the project of New EdTech Classroom. How do we take some of these concepts and ideas, actually, implement them and use them? And yeah, I think this delivers on that in a way that content that we've created in the past has not before, and honestly, in ways that I think other material out there that I've seen doesn't deliver quite on that promise either. So I'm excited about it. Excited to have you along on the journey too.
So I'm going to put a link in the chat as well, if you want to join the waitlist, to be the first to hear about 21st century teacher. And this is what Sam is going to be speaking on at FETC. And what's really cool is, we got a partnership with ViewSonic, and they're bringing a whole view board, like an interactive, huge, massive whiteboard that Sam will be able to kind of like also, project it. And it's not like, hey, everyone huddle around my laptop, So that I'm excited. I won't be going to FETC, but I'm excited to hear how it all goes. So.
No doubt.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. Sam, is anything else from you?
I don't think so. Just we're back on the publication train, and so look out for upcoming videos and live shows and events. And best way again to hear about all that stuff is to join the newsletter. But just deeply appreciative of all the comments that people left on the last video about why we were taking a break, and just felt a lot of love from the community. So thank you so much. And thanks for showing up today for the live show or watching this if you're watching the recorded version. We love everybody. We feel the love from everybody. And we're excited to, embark, even though times are like so challenging and chaotic right now, we're still excited to be with this community embarking on bringing teaching and learning into the 21st century, and are always humbled by your commitment to finding ways to do that in your free time. So thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.
For sure. Thanks everyone for joining us today.